So this is the fifth DifferenceMaker annual kickoff event. My name is Steve Tello. I am the Senior Associate Vice Chancellor for Entrepreneurship and Economic Development here at the university. And I've had the great pleasure of watching this program grow over the last 5 years into something that is gaining national recognition right now. And it's in a big part because of all of you, right? All of you young, energetic millennial students who have decided to spend some time working with us and who want to solve big problems through entrepreneurship and innovation. So we're really excited to have you all here. I want to thank everybody for coming this evening. And first, I have to share, as many of you know, that Chancellor Maloney is a strong advocate of the DifferenceMaker program. It would not exist without her support. You may have heard her talking about it at Convocation and other events. Unfortunately, normally she would be here tonight. She's actually working with a group of donors who raising money to help us build buildings tonight. So she regrets that she can't be with us tonight, but she really does support and appreciate this, and I guarantee you she'll be here for the October 19th celebration of entrepreneurship. There are quite a few folks here, and I have a few words to say. I see we've got a number of the deans are here tonight. Dean Hartman from the College of Engineering is here. Dean Falcone from Fine Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. I saw Dean McKinney here a moment ago from College of Health Sciences. I see Associate Dean Frank Talty from Fine Arts, Humanities, Social Science, and Associate Dean Deirdre Murphy. Did I just promote you, or is that? That's right. Very good. And we really do appreciate, I know you all are really quite busy, and their support and their willingness to sort of open up the doors of their colleges and academic programs and share their faculty with our DifferenceMaker program is the other piece of this program that's really made it all possible. So thank you all very much for your support. So over the last 5 years, right, DifferenceMaker has worked, you may have seen some of the infographics popping up on the screen. We've worked with 20,000 students, UMass Lowell students over the last 5 years. These students come from all 6 university colleges. They come from local towns, they come from local states, and they come from all parts of the world. They include engineers, nurses, philosophers, psychologists, graphic designers, and many other young aspiring professionals. So we really have built a rather unique program and competition that attracts a real mix of student talent and academic talent and alumni and business talent. So far, these students have filed 6 patents, they've formed 14 companies, they spent $150,000 in funds that have been donated by sponsors and alumni in development of their companies. And they've raised another $365,000 in funds in other competitions after going through DifferenceMaker and in investment funds. These teams have traveled to India twice to test out a low-cost adjustable prosthetic leg. They've traveled to Haiti twice to implement home-based water purification systems. They've hosted children with disabilities in multiple sports camps where kids with disabilities get to work with non-disabled athletes. They spent a 6-month sabbatical in Austin, Texas, learning the ins and outs of the food truck business. They've used 3D printers to deliver super hands to children with disabilities in Ghana, Budapest, and Ireland. And they even convinced a major corporate catering company to create a donate a meal bank on campus to support students with food scarcity issues. So these are our students just like you all, who have done some really cool things. And those aren't all of them, right? If I went through all of them, we would be here till midnight. So they're creative, energetic, young, smart people, just like all of you out here, who are interested in making this world a better place by solving problems that matter. So thanks very much for coming here tonight to learn more about DifferenceMaker, and we'll talk a bit tonight about our 3 college competitions, and also to demonstrate your commitment to making this world a better place. I know the team has a full agenda tonight, and I know you're eager to start sharing your innovative ideas. And in a couple of minutes, we'll actually give you a chance to do some brainstorming, and Holly Butler, our project director for MWDQ, will lead us in an ideation activity. But before we get started, I did want to introduce our faculty fellows. and some of the staff and students who helped make this all possible. So the faculty fellows, they are professors from your college who want you to be successful. They're here to help connect you to us, to DifferenceMaker, and to the resources, but also to connect you with the resources in your own academic departments and colleges. So I'll just ask the fellows to stand up. Let's see, I saw Professor Deb Finch from the Manning School of Business is here. Please stand up, stay up so we can give you all a round of applause. Professor Ralph Gordon from the Manning School of Business. Professor Guan Chen, I saw Guan Ling from Computer Science at the Kennedy College of Sciences. Professor John Morgan Bush from Fine Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. A fantastic French player. I saw him perform Friday night. Wonderful job. Professor Anat Koren from College of Health Science. Professor Hunter Mack, our new faculty fellow from the Francis College of Engineering. Professor John Brown from the Graduate School of Education, who is also leading our DifferenceMaker LLC. Some of these folks have been fellows since the beginning in 2012. Some of them are brand new, but thank you all very much. I want to be sure that you know who the DifferenceMaker staff. I get to stand up with the microphone, right, but I don't get to do the hard work, right? There are other people that do the hard work. So if Holly, if you would stand up. Holly Butler is Project Director for DifferenceMaker, and with her is Afo, the Project Manager. These two ladies have an office in the ground floor of Lyman Library, and they are the people who know how to connect you to the resources you need to make your project a reality. So you want to remember their faces and get their email addresses on after. Thank you. They're both alums of the university, by the way. Holly is a graduate of the business school, as is Hart. So. I'd also like to introduce our entrepreneurship co-op students. I know Hannah St. George is womaning the camera in the back of the room, and Hannah's been with us for 2 years. I think I saw Casey Davies earlier. Is Casey still here? She's out covering the front desk, and I assume, and Amy is right here. Amy is our newest student member to join us. So thank you all for the work you do. Now, DifferenceMaker does give away money. And the good news is it's not your tuition money. The funds that we give away to people is actually, it's money that we collect from sponsors and from alumni. So the university supports some staff, and then one of the jobs that I have, and the dean's helping with this, is to raise money so that we have funds for prizes, so that you can then start to implement your ideas and turn them into reality. And so we're very fortunate to have some alums here tonight who are going to talk about the 3 college competitions. So I know we have a very fancy postcard. We work closely with University Relations and make these very nice postcards. And there's a lot of information, and only young people can read the back without glasses. But this is just our fall calendar. There'll be another one for the spring. And it'll give you an idea of all the different things that are going on, and we can talk more about them. But this fall in particular, we have 3 college competitions. So in the Francis College of Engineering, we have a prototype design competition, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. In Fine Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, we have the Creative Venture competition. And in the Manning School of Business, we have a Financial Innovation Contest that's sponsored by Digital Credit Union. And what each of these different competitions do is give you an opportunity to sort of test out your ideas, start to move them further along that development path, gain some important experience in pitching, but also gain feedback from the alumni who are supporting these efforts and from their staff. So we are really appreciative and thankful of the support that you all give us and your commitment. These competitions, these college competitions have been around, I think, 3 years, Jim? I think yours is?
This would be the 4th, I believe.
This is the 4th year, yeah. So 4th year for Manning School of Business. I believe it's the 4th year for Creative Venture competition, and it's the 3rd year for the Engineering Prototype competition. We have a couple of more tricks up our sleeves, and I won't go into all of them right now. Before I ask Chris to come up and talk about the Francis College of Engineering, I do want to just let you all know we joined Division I, right? So we're a Division I sports team. And as part of Division I, we're up in the America East division within Division I. America East actually has an academic consortium, the America East Academic Consortium, which is made up of the schools that are in America East. and they're sponsoring a hackathon. It's at Binghamton University. It's November 4th and 5th, right? And so we were asked to see if we could get some students from UMass Lowell to participate. And so we sent the word out on the DifferenceMaker grapevine, and we reached out to the deans, and we heard from 5 students, and then we heard from 10 students, and then we heard from 15 students. And I think right now we have 30 UMass Lowell students who have signed up to go compete. There are hackletes, right? There are hackletes who go to compete in America East in a civic engagement hackathon. So that is great news. If any of you are interested in doing that, we're actually, America East is paying for a bus, so we actually will have a nice coach bus that will pick you up. Holly has agreed to join you all on this adventure, so she'll be traveling out to Binghamton. It'll be one of these crazy 24, 30-hour deals. You'll go out there. I hear there's close to 300 students have signed up for this event. So it's going to be a real event, a real big competition. So if anyone's interested, you can speak to Holly. But that's just an example of your excitement, your engagement, your willingness to get involved. So without further ado, what we would like to do is we'd like to have a representative come up and speak about each of these college competitions, which are kicking off now. And the first is the Francis College of Engineering Prototype Competition. And Chris McKenna, class of '89, who is an intellectual property lawyer and partner at Foley and Lardner, is going to come up and speak a little bit about that. This competition is sponsored by Foley and Lardner and by New England Keyboard. Chris?
First of all, thank you, Dean Hartman. Thank you, Steve Tello, if I can get his title right, Senior Associate Vice Chancellor of Entrepreneur and Economic Development. I don't know how you get that on a business card, but that's wonderful. The rest of you, Holly Hard, the directors of DifferenceMaker, shout out to Tom O'Donnell, Innovation Hub, the fellows, professors, all you students out here, and the rest of the community. Happy to be here, so thank you very much. My name is Chris McKenna. I'm a partner at Foley and Lardner, which is an AM Law 100 firm that specializes in helping young companies to pre-startup, launch, grow, and exit. So we enjoy that quite a bit. We're 900 attorneys across 20 different cities. Have a focus here in Boston. So we spend a lot of time in the ecosystem helping young companies and startups, and happy to be a part of the DifferenceMaker. Also, as Steve mentioned, I'm an alumni from 1989 of electrical engineering, back when it was actually University of Lowell. Some of you are too young to appreciate that. I know that, so I'm aging myself. It was last year that it was University of Lowell, and now unfortunately UMass Lowell, but very, very proud of it. Today, I was thinking, I'm not going to tell you anything about the prototyping competition right away, okay? I know you have a lot of it online. My goal is to kind of give you some insights just from my experience with UMass Lowell to share with you, give you a little bit of perspective, hopefully a little bit of inspiration, and something to learn. So what I was thinking about tonight, there's a couple of points I wanted to make. One was to give you a sense of all the different opportunities and career paths that this great university can provide you, and where you actually can make a difference. But I share my own career path, which some of you are going to find unique and different. So that's one part of the exercise here. And then the other is just, I am very proud to be alumni of UMass Lowell. I want to give you insight into the type of people that enter and leave UMass Lowell and how they make a difference, and why you should also be proud of being here at UMass Lowell. So why did I come to school here? Probably for a lot of the same reasons you have. You know, we have it's a great educational program, gives you very practical hands-on skills, very accessible in both in cost and location, and I would say it's probably one of the best values in the country in terms of education. And for me personally, it was a tremendous return on investment, and I hope it's the same for you. And again, when I was reflecting about what I wanted to share tonight and kind of my career path, one thing I wanted to share that most of you might be feeling right now. I remember being electrical engineering, as you know, those are some tough courses, and I think I got into my sophomore year, felt like, okay, I see my path to graduation. But like any young person, I was wondering, am I going to actually be able to get a job, make a difference? And if I'm going to do something meaningful, even if I graduate, what am I going to do? I'm sure a lot of you are still wondering that as you carve out your life path. And so I still remember that. And now when I look back on everything that I've done, I'm going to tell you, don't worry, you will make a difference. And so I want to share some of my story so that you can kind of appreciate that and show that all the opportunities great university can give you. And also, like the other speakers tonight, I know we have Glenn here, we have Jim here, they've done some great things, and a lot of the other alumni mentors. Our goal is to be role models to you of all the career paths and things that you can accomplish by graduating from UMass. So what's my story? I probably am the poster child for all the different type of jobs one could have from engineering school. So I'll share them with you. Start off in a very typical role when I graduated UMass Lowell, double-E, where I worked, Raytheon. Obviously, Raytheon is a big program here. Like a lot of the big companies, there's a lot of engineering talent here, and they recruit, it's a great place to go. So I worked there for a while. And then I worked in 2 young companies, right? From roles from kind of emerging tech startup companies, very dynamic, where you make an impact right away, from roles from tech support manager, consultant, trainer, all the way to director of professional services for an enterprise resource software company. Like many of you who are here for DifferenceMaker, I see some of you have an entrepreneurial spirit, innovators. You also go on to someday start companies. And I also did the same. So I switched and I really had the entrepreneurial spirit. I founded my own company in manufacturing, automation, integration, and semiconductor. Had some great experience there and learned a lot by doing that. Was the COO, so I got a lot of hands-on experience as well. And my career didn't stop there. As you know, I'm a lawyer right now, so switched again. So I'm actually, went to law school at night. Started as a first-year associate, worked up the ranks, do intellectual property law, which for any of you is kind of a combination of law and engineering degree, which is a powerful combination. Finally worked my way up to partner, and now I lead Foley & Lardner's national IP practice and high-tech practice, where I get to work with great young people like yourself to help them develop their ideas, coach them, mentor them, and help form companies and grow them, which is really exciting for me to do those type of things. So I share my background, not to tell you really just about myself, but how this is a great school and is a great investment for me. And for any of you who are pausing out there wondering, am I going to do something? You're all going to have and will accomplish wonderful things, have interesting endeavors, contribute in a way that will make a difference, and maybe in ways you will not expect. I can tell you right now, when I graduated from UMass Lowell, I expect to be a partner, a Foley & Lardner. Tonight, helping out, talking in that role, a DifferenceMaker, no. But UMass Lowell gave me the foundation to do that, and you all will have that opportunity. And as you see, one of my goals tonight is to see how many times I can either say DifferenceMaker or make a difference, so let's take note of that theme in here. But more importantly, I'm a big fan of what UMass Lowell has done to develop its entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem. Coming back here from 30 years ago and seeing the young people do these type of things, I'm jealous of the composure, the articulation, the ideas that you have, the spirit. It's amazing. You're going to be much more prepared than all the alumni that you see up here who have success. The school is going to give you a lot more, and this program is going to do a great job doing that. So programs like the DifferenceMaker literally will make the difference for you. You'll have opportunities that far exceed any of us. The other thing is, I'm proud of UMass Lowell, and you should be too. Embarrassingly, it's been about 30 years since I probably walked through the halls of Ball Hall and was in the lecture room there. And coming back here, a lot of great things has changed. It's expanded, it has grown, all the programs, the rankings, everything. It's just amazing. You have Starbucks, that's awesome. But more importantly, what you want to realize, a lot of things haven't changed. The core values have stayed the same. In terms of developing students with practical skills that have the right attitude to make a difference. And that's really key. There's a classic saying in business, right? You can teach skills, but you have to hire for attitude. And I think luckily UMass Lowell has both, right? right? They're teaching you skills and you have the right people that enter here with the right attitude. So intangibles matter, and those are things that will actually make a difference. So not only does UMass give you the great educational foundation, the hands-on skills to enter the workforce, but it gives you the attitude and perspective that UMass graduates are well known for. They attract these type of students, it's just natural. Those who have the right attitude, the right passion, hard workers, ethics, adaptability, likability, practicability, I mean, all the abilities, right, you folks have them. And I know as a hiring person out there, and just like a lot of companies out there, we love UMass Lowell students just because, not because of the skills, which are important, it's because of the attitude and perspective that they bring. So with programs like the DifferenceMaker, many of you will get even learn more about these practicalities and build up those skills further. So it's just a really tremendous program. Just very excited to be part of it, and you should too. It's a great thing to learn these skills because it's going to help you in your life. So I look forward to supporting the program, mentoring difference makers, teams, seeing how you all contribute, not only today, but in the future. So to everyone in this room, I want to go around with applause. Now, there is a little bit to say about the program. I did get a little laundry list of housekeeping here to make sure. I know most of the information is online. I know all is well organized, and there's pamphlets out here with all the information. But I'll at least give you the full list that I have so that you know that, right? So submissions and dates are all online, with the competition itself being on Wednesday, December 7th. To compete, each team must build a prototype, either physical or software. Interdisciplinary teams are encouraged, must have at least one engineer. So and that's a big thing. I think having multiple disciplinary teams is huge because we're going to provide a whole bunch of different perspectives. Even in law firms, when we go talk to potential clients, right, especially high tech or lobbying startups and high tech type of endeavors, right, we have different lawyers because they did bring different perspectives. I do a lot of IP work, corporate lawyers have formation and funding, and have other lawyers do transactional work. So just like in real life, having these multidisciplinary teams is going to be a competitive differentiator. So I do encourage that. Entries will be judged on problem being solved, solution presented, including the prototype, development path, and presentation. I know I've seen the presentations before, and we all knock them out of the park. Again, I'm flabbergasted. I'm actually jealous. I'm like, I wish I was that well composed as young people are when we present at these contests, because it's pretty amazing. And limited funds, I guess, are available to help with prototype development. I think you go see Dean Hartman or Steve Tello if you're looking for some money. And last year, over 30 teams competed for thousands of dollars in prizes. And I think if you have any questions, you go online, or you see Holly and some of these brochures. So with that, I'm going to pass the baton to our next speakers, and thank you very much.
So as I mentioned, there are 3 competitions, and so now I would like to ask, was it 1989, Glenn? Is that what year you graduated, or 86? 86, 1980, class of 86. Glenn Morgan, graduate of Finance and Social Science. Glenn actually worked closely with Associate Dean Talty and Dean Falcone to get this competition off the ground, and this was Glenn's idea. So Glenn, would you mind coming up for a couple minutes and share your motivations for
Tonight, rather than just talk about the Creative Venture competition, which is really, I'm here to plug that competition so you can go online and get the information there. I'd like to talk to you about some of the reasons why you, as students, may want to start a new venture. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to talk just a couple of minutes, 6 minutes. Initially, my speech will be kind of boring, and I'm going to lull you into a sense of complacency, and then I'm going to talk about some interesting stuff. So I'm just going to give you a little time. So when we think of a new venture, we think of the potential rewards we'll earn in exchange for the risk we take as entrepreneurs. We think of what we gain when we start a new business, or when we start a new community support organization. When we start a business or a nonprofit, we do so with a goal in mind. We do for a reason. So I thought of a couple of reasons, and I came up with 6 reasons or so reasons why you want to start a new business. And so I'd like to spend the next 6 minutes discussing those reasons with you. So reason one, sometimes a new venture is starting to apply a unique skill. Your skill and your new venture will allow you to expand that skill set. And you won't just expand your fundamental skills of engineering or finance. You'll learn how to manage your time and be a leader. Or you may start a new venture to meet an unmet need in the marketplace. It could be profit-oriented, building a new product, building a new app, or it could be nonprofit-oriented. Nonprofit could be building a new prosthetic device for children, or making sure your fellow students have 3 square meals a day. And of course, profits are nice reward for starting a venture. If run successfully, your new business will generate wealth. You can pay your bills, pay off your student loans, become financially independent, and save some money to do fun things in the future. And jobs. If you grow, your new venture will generate jobs. And who doesn't want to offer someone else the promise of employment? In addition to generating jobs, and you won't just offer the community your service, you'll lead the community with your values and your support and your commitment to the community. And though sometimes overlooked, your venture will generate friends, and maybe some enemies too. And if you're honest with your words and your actions, and you're empathetic to those around you, you're going to build friendships for life. And that's a lot of good stuff. Skills, fulfilling a need, money, community support, friends. So, I can understand why you want to start a new venture. But let's hold on a minute. Starting a new venture is hard. I'm on my 3rd venture now. Fear of failure stalks you every day. Sometimes things go so poorly, you just want to cry or scream. You're the friggin' boss. You can't cry. You shouldn't scream. So think about it. Starting a venture is risky. The risks are all around. In terms of competition wants to eat your lunch. They may be able to better serve those unmet needs. And then they want to buy your product or your service. And sometimes you shed jobs. You fire people. You lay off those you hired with the best intentions. And sometimes you lose money. And I can tell you from personal experience, sometimes you're at risk of losing all of your money and all of your wife's money. And she reminds you of that. And you piss off friends. You anger those closest to you, those most dear. I remember during my first venture, my wife Sandy was a resident at Boston City Hospital. And so for those of us with snow on the roof, Boston City is the old Boston Medical Center. Sandy was a resident. And at those times, you could exploit your residents. She worked 95 to 100 hours a week. And at the time, we had 2 young children. And sometimes she'd call me and say, "Hey, Glenn, I need some help. Can you get home early?" And I'd say, "No, I can't do it. I have to close this deal. And if I don't close this deal, I'm not going to make payroll next time. So I can't help you, Sandy." And then piss her off. She'd get out of it. And that venture, my first venture was basically a turnaround. I took over someone else's throwaway. And I was responsible for reducing debt from over $1 million to less than $100,000 and turning a huge loss into a modest profit and then selling the company. And so that sounds all good. But I was also responsible for laying off half the staff, half my friends. And every morning for about 18 months while I ran that venture, and the sun would peek over my neighbor's house in Somerville, and it would just tap on my window, my bedroom. I'd wake up, run to the bathroom and puke. So that's what it's like to have a new venture. And of course, when I puked that early in the morning, that pissed my wife off even more. She was like, "You couldn't help me last night with the chores, and now you're up puking." And so she was working 95 plus hours a week, and the kids were asleep. And I had no choice. But I did say you learn new skills. Eventually I learned how to puke in silence. And so I no longer know. So why? I just laid out a couple of reasons for the things that could go south. If things can go sideways like this, why would you want to start a new venture? Why would you want to do this to yourself? You can get new skills with a new job, right? You get hired, you'll get those skills. And money. Look around. Like Chris said, you guys are going to get jobs. You're from Mass Picking Fire with UMass Lowell. Somebody's going to pay you well. And so somebody's going to hire you, and you're going to get a good job. Now, your first job may not be the perfect job. By your second or third job in education here, you're going to do just fine. So you don't need to start a venture to make money. I'm talking myself out of that right now. And at that job, you're going to be charged with fulfilling needs. You'll be given responsibilities, and maybe you'll be able to launch a new product or a new service. So you're able to meet additional unmet needs in the marketplace. And if your job succeeds, and you start doing well in your division or your office or your product group, whatever you're responsible for, you'll be able to hire new people. You'll be able to increase jobs there. And you can support your community without a new venture. You can go volunteer, you can go donate. You don't start a venture to support your community. And friends, hell, you can get friends in lots of places. I mean, if I wasn't so madly in love with my wife, she did stay with me even though I puked. And if I wasn't so old, I could go on Tinder and swipe away and get all the friends I wanted. Right? So you don't need a new venture to get friends. And I think that's hurtful that you laugh at me on Tinder. So why? Why do you do it? Why do you start a new venture? I think the answer is simple. In addition to gaining new skills, fulfilling the needs of the marketplace, earning money, generating jobs, serving your community, and finding friends in places other than Tinder, the answer is personal freedom. Your venture provides you with the freedom to pursue your dreams, freedom to do what you, as an entrepreneur, think is right. If you start a new business, you get to decide what's important, and you get to do that every day. And the job can't always give you that. I know many people that have had very worthwhile jobs, and they've done everything they were supposed to do. They were never given the chance to define it or pursue it. In some cases, like the people that work for me, they did everything right. They have no wealth because they weren't pursuing their own. A new venture creates freedom for you, so you can make choices, so you can decide what to do, so you can plan and direct your life. Now, let's be real. Sometimes the plan is interrupted, or it's changed, or you puke for 18 months in a row, or the plan was blown up. But it's yours. If you fail, it's yours. If you succeed, it's yours. It's your opportunity. And from my 54-year-old vantage point, that opportunity is precious. Nowadays, I don't think about whether I have money or not. I think about the luxury of making choices. Choices that meant when my mother was sick, I could take off every Friday, go down to New Jersey, and visit her for months before she died. Choices that meant when my child was sick, I could talk with my partner, change my work schedule, take time to spend with my child to make sure that my child healed. And choices that allow me to go to work a little late every morning, including today, so I can have breakfast with my son. Freedom gives you time to pursue your new dreams and your new passions, because your dreams and passions change every time. You get to relax and do things like read and write and give back and spend time with people you think are important, people like you. It's not just money or jobs or skills, it's freedom. And it's yours if you want it. So sign up for Creative Ventures and go kick some ass. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Glenn. Glenn always has an intriguing story to tell. So keep that in mind. And then, of course, we have our Manning School of Business and Digital Credit Union Financial Innovation Contest, which was initiated by another alum, Jim Reagan. Jim is a class of 88 graduate, correct? Jim is also, any of you have an account at Digital Credit Union? You do? Well, here's the man who makes sure that all those people keep that money flowing in and out of that company, and was actually been part of the team. I think that's helped grow DCU over the last few years, and we'll be shortly moving closely into our neighborhood. So we've really enjoyed working with Jim and David from Digital on this competition. And so Jim, if you'd like to come up and speak a little bit about your interest in this all.
right, so I graduated in '88, and a little bit different than Chris for sure. I've had 2 jobs. I'm kind of a boring accountant by trade. I worked in public accounting for 4 years, and I've worked at Digital Federal Credit Union for 25 years, so it'll be 25 at the end of the year. Hopefully I'll retire there if they don't throw me out too soon. Came to Lowell primarily because I thought it was a great value. I'm a local kid that grew up in Chelmsford. Didn't have a lot of money, didn't want to take out a huge amount of loans. And after 4 years of graduating here and what I learned from here, and when I started my first job, the part that I thought was best was I started at the same salary as the kids that went to Bryan and Bentley and Boston University and Boston College. We all started at the same salary. Whether you went to UMass Lowell, whether you went to any of those other schools, even had a Harvard person, they were the first one fired or laid off, whatever you want to call it.
Not that we're competitive.
No, not at all, not at all. I almost caused a riot last week because I was at a luncheon talking and Bentley came up, and you don't even want to go to Bentley University with me. So. But anyway, I have had hockey tickets since I graduated from here. I have been to South Bend. I have been to Belfast with the hockey team. I am headed to Colorado Springs in a couple weeks with the hockey team. I haven't decided whether I'm going to go to Colorado Springs and South Bend in 1 year. My wife's a pretty understanding person. Not quite as understanding as some other folks. I think I would have been thrown out a long time ago with that one. From a competition side of it and opportunity side, one of the things I want to point out, and I'm not quite sure why, when I saw the slides going by, it basically said that you had to be in engineering, computer science, or Manning School of Business. If anybody's here that's not from there, and you have an idea related to financial services, anything that has an opportunity to help underserved, underbanked people with regards to financial services, whether that's a for-profit or not-for-profit element of it, you are absolutely can participate in the competition. And it's not all about a checking account or a web page or a mobile app. So for example, just to give you an idea if it helps, we've started a not-for-profit. Ironically, the credit union is not-for-profit, but we've started a separate non-for-profit, and it's called Exuda. And if anybody's familiar with a company called Kiva, Kiva basically offers loans, microfinance type loans around the world to underserved, to underdeveloped areas that need some help. Well, we kind of thought about that concept and have taken it and said, well, it's really great that people are putting money out there and supporting places in other parts of the world, but we thought that there was a lot of opportunities here. So we actually started this non-for-profit called Exuda, and it's a peer-to-peer type lending model where you give people the opportunity to lend to other people. It's interest only. It's really to help for emergency funding. More than half the people in the country could come up with $400, according to surveys by the Federal Reserve, to fund an emergency that they have. If the radiator in your car breaks and you need that car to get to work, and if you don't have a job, you can't pay your rent, you can't feed your family, but you don't have a credit card, or you don't have access to that, here's an opportunity where you could get that money and pay it back in increments over let's say it's $600 and you're paying back $50 a month over a year time frame. Those are the types of things that we're open to hear about. We want to try to make a difference. And it's ironic that they've gone with the difference maker approach, because that's kind of one of the things that what we refer to as the DC way is to do the right thing, make a difference. Make a difference in people's lives is something that we think is really valuable. Now, from an innovation side of that too, I'll let you know that it's probably not that inventive to you guys, but early on, we were one of the early ones that basically offered what's called remote deposit capture, or take a picture of a check and be able to deposit it electronically. Despite the fact that we're a pretty small place, it actually works to our benefit a lot of times because we don't have a lot of bureaucracy. We had that out there and we were offering that to people, and we probably had 50 or 80,000 people using that before Bank of America even offered it to any of their customers. Now the difference is, the first day that Bank of America launched that, they probably had 500,000 people using it because they're a lot bigger than us. But we try to make a difference for the folks that in the area that we're in. And instead of getting into a lot of other things, what I would tell you is that whatever solution that you come up with and participate in the contest, our hope is that, our desire is that it's related to the financial services industry. It may be something that DCU could use, and we'd work with you on that. It may not be, but it still may be a really good idea, and we have a lot of contacts in the industry that we can help connect you with other folks where it could make a difference from that perspective. So it's not actually, hopefully it doesn't end at the competition. It actually goes beyond that to make a difference in whatever it is that you're trying to do. And for those in the financial services side of it, we'd love to have you participate. And I'll be around for a little bit if anybody has any questions afterwards. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. I mean, we're really fortunate. These were just a few of the alums who have stepped up. These gentlemen and their organizations are helping us kick off these competitions. But there are many alums who serve as mentors and contribute to the program in many different ways. So how about a round of applause for all of them? I'm going to get off the microphone in a minute because Holly really wants to get you all talking to each other. But I do want to just remind folks, so these three competitions are sort of the fall phase, and there's a timeline. The teams that place in these competitions, that win a prize, they'll bypass the first round of application entry into the Big Idea Challenge in the spring. So in addition to the funding that you will receive as a winning competitor in these competitions, you'll also bypass some of the entry. You go directly into the preliminary pitch, which I believe is in April, for the Big Idea Challenge. So it's something to keep in mind. Think about this as a way to sort of test out your ideas, work on your team, develop it, get some valuable feedback, hopefully get some funding, and then also you'll have opportunities to deliver this further. There's a pipeline here at UMass Lowell, right? And so you're really at the very early stage of that pipeline, testing out the idea, seeing who you want to work with. Can I build a prototype? Is there some value to this? But we have support services that go all the way through the Student DifferenceMaker program, through funding, we have an innovation hub over at 110 Canal Street where we have 15 startup companies right now. Digital Credit Union runs their own innovation hub in Boston right now with WorkBot, right in the financial district, that is working on developing another one right in our neighborhood. So there's a pipeline for you to go from that early stage idea you have right now into becoming one of those great big successful companies that may keep you up some nights, as Glenn had pointed out. So thank you all very much. I know Holly's going to take over, get you all talking to each other. I just want to thank you very much.